So, the last topic is discussing our previous video, Telltale Atheist defends gay genocide as a position deserving respect. For those who haven't seen the video, this discussion is probably going to be rather interesting for you. We'll try to cover some details that's sort of important, but the gist of it is, for those who don't know, back in 2019, I was the target of someone known as Telltale Atheist. I first had a run-in with Telltale over the fact that during a period where I had a truce with Stephen Woodford of Rationality Rules, there was sort of a month where I stepped back and said, sort your shit on this transphobia. They said they were going to sort their shit on their transphobia. They never did. But Telltale Atheist was trying to start shit and trying to get me blacklisted by arguing that I had instigated violence at the Faithless Forums, in spite of the fact that I didn't go to the Faithless Forums, I was in India. And the only stuff that I could point to was me telling people to leave Woodford alone. We should be fine. They say they're going to sort their shit. So only thing I asked them to do was keep an ear out for anyone trying to present me as the aggressor to try and rewrite what happened. Because, again, I didn't come after Woodford. Woodford came after the trans community, stated that we were a threat, that we needed to be dealt with, painted targets on the backs of multiple people, including two black trans girls. They had a lot to account for. They said they're going to sort it, leave them for now, but just keep a lookout for anyone trying to present me as the aggressor, because I knew that was going to be the narrative they were going to go for, if they were going to go for anything. The whole Darvo, it takes time to actually settle in. So, Telltale Atheist came out and started making claims that I had started a riot at the Faiths Forum, akin to the burning down of Kingdom Halls, that had all been caught on camera. I asked for evidence. It never came. There was no evidence. They apologized, only to state in the same thread that they only apologized to move conversation along. They weren't actually sorry about their stuff. I did a video on that, and that was that for a while. I didn't discuss Telltale Atheist after that. Then the whole Rachel Oates thing happened. For those who don't know, Rachel Oates is someone who spent 3 months harassing me, then lied, claiming that she hadn't, whilst I had her blocked. And then she sent her 100,000 subscribers to circumvent my block of her, to target me, and try to force me into capitulating to her. When I clapped back at her, she flipped the Darvo switch, claimed that I had been stalking her, harassing her, even though I had her blocked for months. And her tweet very clearly stated, "Since EOT has me blocked."
And also, you didn't drag her over the fiery coals for the email thing.
No, because that's the thing, I wasn't watching it. For those who don't know what Levi is referring to, not only did Rachel Oates share private post from a mental health support group that was set up primarily to support trans folk who had been ejected from the atheist community of Austin, keeping it up once she'd been notified and acknowledged that this was the case and that she had lied about it and it was causing harm. Turns out she published Levi's emails. And because I wasn't watching her channel, her feed, etc., I didn't see this. Because
it should be very clear as well. The emails thing, you might think, oh, we had a discussion of the emails and then it ended badly, and then she published them to say, look at what happened. No. As a way to hold me accountable. No. She published them to quote unquote ask for advice. And not only, there's the obvious thing of, obviously you don't do that. If you want to ask for advice, you would go to a friend.
Also the fact that
Twitter.
Every time she posted it with her response to that email. Yeah. So it wasn't asking for advice. What she was doing was she was chumming the water, ringing the dinner bell, asking her audience to come along and abuse this trans person who was part of her audience, to try and signal to any other trans person who dared put their neck out, don't do that, we will crush you. Yes, I missed that because I wasn't watching her feed. I did not give a crap about her. But yes, anyway, she lied about what happened, pretended that she left me alone for 3 months, in spite of the fact that I've got a 27-minute rant a week and 2 days before, and she included me in a video just a week before she did this. At which point Telltale Atheist came out claiming that this had happened before and that I was a terrible person, I didn't respect people. The problem is, the cases he noted, Stater Daniel and I. Emanuela, Stater Daniel's video, in the video he linked, had been flagged for hate speech, because he was bigoted trash as well. And he acknowledged this at the start of the video Telltale linked. Conveniently, Telltale jumped over that. In the link he made, he timestamped after the point. Stater Daniel acknowledged that the previous video he'd done had been flagged for hate speech. As for the video in general, it was about I. Emanuela. I. Emanuela was a Christian who supported gay genocide on multiple accounts, actively quoting passages calling for the death of gay people, cutting them off. But here's the thing: it's not a case of it's not a case of two passages. One notes how gay people are evil, and then the follow-up notes that they should be killed. It's one singular passage that states these things. And her big thing was, oh, outsiders, non-Christians, and LGBT+ folk don't know their Bible. So she was clearly trying to sneak it past us, the fact that she was quoting death passages. She was also in support of conversion attempts against LGBT+ folk. Both of these things were well known, easy to find. I not only had my own video from that time still public, so Telltale could have checked my response himself if he wanted. I had her original video archived, so he could see everything. But he chose not to. Instead, he came along, said he'd done the research, and found out that I'd, abused this person. It was terrible, and they really deserved respect and everything. And it was just, it was absolutely ridiculous. And it was presenting someone who advocated for gay genocide as someone who deserved respect. All because I swore a couple of times whilst telling her, learn what fucking consent is. Because she compared, not only did she quote the kill passage, not only did she argue that conversion attempts were good, she compared homosexuality to school shootings the very, a week after an American school shooting happened. And this was back in 2014, 2015, when school shootings were still seen as a big thing. The fatigue of them being just another part of American life hadn't really set in. And she was using that emotional manipulation to try and get people angry at the gay community and potentially enact violence. I am updating these content warnings. So yes, and she also forwarded AIDS as God's divine punishment.
So the whole bingo card of homophobia.
Everything. She was doing everything, and Telltale Atheist claimed to have done research into this person, which was him telling his audience to trust him. Trust me, this person did not deserve to be told to fuck off. That was him betting his career on it, if there was a just world.
Not that she didn't deserve to be told to fuck off, but that she didn't deserve to be abused and, maybe even bullied off of YouTube by evil, tyrannical essence of thought.
And I
specifics.
Showed,
Telltale is allergic to specifics, honestly.
And I showed how bullshit this whole thing was. It's a half-hour video. And it resulted in an absolute clusterfuck after. Before the video had even gone out, by the way, Telltale was trying to get me banned. I was warning a friend that this is what Telltale had done. Just telling a friend. I wasn't doing anything public display or whatever. I was warning a friend. Telltale was trying to get me banned for that. They didn't get that tweet taken down. They got an earlier tweet in which I described exactly what I. Emanuela had done. They got that taken down for breach of terms of service. Seemingly Twitter thought I was the one making the argument I was stating I. Emanuela had. So it was incitement of hatred against a marginalized group. That was what they got me flagged for, even though I was calling that out. They were abusing the flagging system to try and get me to shut up. Didn't work. that's never worked on me. If anything, that just makes me double down. After this, because I noted at the end of my video to show the difference in behaviors between us, I noted the facts that when someone doxed him to my YouTube channel and then did the same on Twitter, when it was brought to my attention that they were doxing them on Twitter, I went, oh shit, that person's doxing them on YouTube. I went to several different videos I'd seen them post to, and I removed their name. To which Telltale thanked me via Chris, and like this, they knew that if they came to me, I would do the right thing. Yet the moment they find out I have something on them, they try to shut me down as quick as possible. They don't try to call my bluff like I did with the Faithless Forum when they said they had evidence of me inciting a riot. They just try to shut me down. So I showed this in the video, but Telltale accused me of trying to dox him. And I thought at first when I read the tweet that he put out, because he didn't name names, he said, a stalker has been trying to share my personal name or whatever. I was like, oh, so now he's acknowledging what the other person had done to try and drum up sympathy in relation to me. No, he was just calling me the stalker trying to dox him, even though I had taken active steps to remove others doxing him, and was simply bringing it up whilst blurring out the names to note the facts that he feels comfortable enough coming to me to do the right thing. I don't feel comfortable enough going to him to do the right thing. But it grew from there. Telltale Atheist then tried to imply that I'd somehow, I don't know, illegally obtained his photograph, the one that I'd used in the thumbnail of his video, only for me to respond on Twitter by literally showing that if you search Owen Morgan, which is his online persona name, Owen Morgan, I think Telltale, it's like it's like on the second line, third image across. Like, it's all online. He posted it to Twitter himself. But he was trying to insinuate that I'd perhaps hacked his computer and stolen the photograph from his wife, because he didn't know how anyone could have this photograph that was uploaded to his Twitter. Never corrected that narrative, of course, when I pointed out the facts that it's on Google. Just Google the name that he uses on his YouTube, and it turns up there in the second row. He just didn't care. Then he pulled the self-harm card, which is the same thing Rachel Oates did. Because I was responding to his active lies about me and pointing out how he defended gay genocide, that was apparently abusive, stalking or whatever. And it's like, no, you chose to come out of nowhere and try to get me blacklisted. You chose to come out of nowhere and try to defend gay genocide to try and make me look bad. You are still lying about the idea of me doxing you, about where I got the image. You know, you're still lying. I have a right to point out those lies. I'm not being hostile, I'm not being aggressive, I'm not abusing you, I'm not coming around and responding to your posts or whatever, but I am allowed to defend myself in that regard. And all I'm doing is pointing out, oh, I blocked out their name and actually removed their name from YouTube videos unprompted. Here's where I got the photograph. That's all I'm doing. But yeah, he pulled the, this is how you drive people to self-harm. And that's ridiculous. Ironically enough, like the 3 months of harassment Rachel Oates did, that 27-minute rant I mentioned, and the video she posted about me the week before, is accusing me of using self-harm as a shield. And the reason that they did that was because in response to Holy Kool-Aid, Thomas Westbrook, I think, is it? It's Thomas Westbrook, yes. In response to Holy Kool-Aid, trying to justify... oh God, what was their name now? So long. Trying to justify there was a self-declared transphobe who had targeted me and had been trying to like circumvent my block of him for months. In response to a self-declared transphobe abusing me, Thomas Westbrook defended them to Godless Cranium, stating that it was more of a job interview because this money has a habit apparently of throwing money at secular channels. To which Goddess Cranium famously asked him, hang on a second, is he a sponsor of yours? To which Thomas Westbrook went, he just could not handle even the suggestion. By the way, yes, they were a sponsor of his. He's received at least, I think, $300 from the person. And he aggressively tried to shut down that line of questioning. So yes, he was compromised. He was being paid to defend this transphobe. Friedel, Jonathan Friedel, that was the person's name. But yes, anyway, they stated it was a job interview, and I made 2 arguments in response to that. The first argument was me going on about me. I did not sign up to be abused. It's not part of my job description on YouTube. It's nothing to do with that. So the idea that someone can just abuse me and call that as a job interview, it would be akin to someone like a professional boxer just coming out of nowhere and punching Thomas. It's ridiculous. I did not consent to any of this. Fuck off with that. That was the argument about me. I then went on to state repeatedly, thankfully, I don't self-harm. I'm in a good place psychologically. I'm seeing a therapist. I have support. I have that structure. But you didn't know any of this. All you did know was that I belong to a community with a high rate of attempted suicide and self-harm, and you chose to target me. Now, again, thankfully, I don't have these tendencies. But if you keep targeting other people, you will eventually hit someone who doesn't have my privilege in that regard. So I had one argument about me, one argument about the trans community in general. And that was taken to... one second, we've got a spammer. That was taken to mean something else. That was taken and presented as me using self-harm, or the threat of self-harm, to... Okay, trans gamer girls got it. Cool. Can you just ban them next time? Don't just time them out. So anyway, this was presented as me using self-harm to avoid criticism, when no, I repeatedly stated, I do not self-harm, I'm not suicidal, I have a support structure. But if you target other people in the same way you targeted me, that is going to cause harm. So Rachel Oates was going after that for 3 months, only to then, when I dared clap back, tell her exactly why I think she's a disgusting transphobe, which is ignorant of the information that she'd been sharing in Levi's emails. The fact why I wouldn't apologize to her for pointing that out, and how she could fix things. That's something that everyone leaves out. I told her how she could fucking fix things. Because I did all of that, she darvoed me, claims that I've been doing all these terrible things when the evidence shows the contrary. Sadly, as we saw with, upper-class white cis women, they have a tendency to weaponize the patriarchy. We saw this in what happened with the in Central Park in New York, etc. And it's just, it worked. She got a paid holiday. Me, I just got stuck with everything else. So, yes, I've forgotten where the point actually started out on this. Oh, right, yes, and then, of course, Telltale pulled the self-harm card himself. It's like, but that's not what actually happened. It's absolutely ridiculous that you would do this. What's very
interesting about that is, he lies about you, and you respond to that, lies that were about a year old, and then the subsequent lies that followed, that is apparently stalking. But him digging up something from 6 to 7 years ago about you that had nothing to do with him, that person involved did not ask for his help, that's not stalking, that's just, that's a public service.
Yeah, that's a double standard. Well, that's cis privilege for you.
Also, I think there's some ableism in there and stuff.
But I mean, it's just part of abuse culture. The idea that abusers can tap out when it's convenient for them. Don't get me wrong. People can take things too far. And this is something I say in my video response to him about I Emanuela. Go, watch the video. It is still public. It wasn't a scripted video, I could have said something on the spot. I think I mentioned that there's ableism in there because this is before I started like checking my own ableism, my internalized ableism. Go check it, watch it, see if I went too far. There's always that possibility. But going too far, in the view of Rachel Oates, Telltale Atheist, Woodford, Rationality Rules, Holy Kool-Aid, going too far is supplying additional information. That's why we're so different in how we conduct ourselves. When Telltale lied about me, my response was, prove it. When I made statements about what Telltale had done, which I said, okay, I'm going to get the evidence out there for, his immediate response was, shut that the fuck down. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a few comments here that I've got in response to everything, so I just wanted to quickly go through them. Surprisingly, we had very few people actually comment to the video. I had to remove one for just spouting some generic transphobic shtick.
It's really surprising. I mean, they said outright that they wouldn't watch the video unless Telltale debunked it on his own channel.
I let through every comment except for this one that spouted transphobic spiel, and we're about to go through them. The first one was from Random Xander, who gave a character testimony, effectively, which was one thing, they can have a character testimony. What really fucking bothered me is the way they tried to bolster their character testimony by claiming to have worked at the Human Rights Campaign and the Trevor Project, which led me to immediately contact them and let them know that, hey, someone who claims to be working for you is trying to use your charity name as a means of bolstering their arguments. Is this in allowance with your standards? So there was that. Basic thing, let it through, responded. Then we had Colin Robertson, who stated that, quote, your standards for proper conduct are impossible to achieve, and you yourself do not meet them. You are a good journalist, but I have difficulty trusting your assessments of individuals, as you tend to assign malice to any and all poor behaviours, end quote. I did not realise not supporting gay genocide was an impossible standard to meet, and I have never supported gay genocide. Again, like, this lack of realization on their behalf is astonishing, and I get the sense that they just have not watched the video. They're just going on what they've been told, that I'm inventing an issue where there isn't any, and that's really, Michelle DeVries asked, is it possible that his position has evolved? And to add to this, she linked to a video he'd done before the whole I. Emanuela situation. This is in spite of the fact that I literally opened my video stating that Telltale is fine supporting the LGBT plus community when it's convenient for him, when it's profitable, when he gets the praise. But the moment it comes to putting his money where his mouth is, no, of course not. Of course not. And the moment it's actually in his best interest to throw the LGBT plus community under the bus, as history has shown us, he is more than happy to do that. So I don't get this. Like, I acknowledge, on the outside, Telltale likes to present himself as queer inclusive. So what? I think another argument people point out, if I remember it is Telltale, though I could be misremembering, is that apparently he dated a trans woman at some point. I know one of the pro-rationality rules crew did. Apparently they dated a trans woman at some point, and that kept being thrown out at me every time I critiques them. And it's like, just wait until these people discover that most misogynists are heterosexual men. The idea that you can date someone and still fucking hate them on some intrinsic level is not surprising. In fact, patriarchy is kind of predicated on that. You can go throughout history and look at like racism and like, how that interacts with like colonialism and colonial rape, etc., and everything like this. And it's like these people are just making the like worst possible arguments they possibly can. Yes. Then we had a person by the name of Relaxto, excuse me, I'm a bit gassy today, stating that labels cause division. We need to leave behind all the labels. And my response to that was quite simply to point out that labels have a use. They allow people of a similar experience and identity to come together and to form a movement. The desire to get rid of labels coincides rather nicely with the desire to prevent trans people coming together and unifying together. It's the generic version of the whole "I don't see color." And it's just applied to everything. Oh, I don't see people of these different groups. Well, great for you, but that doesn't deal away with the systemic bigotry that exists in society. So, what are you planning on doing about that? And that was really it. Those are the comments. There was someone else that seemed a little confused about things. Like they posted about, I've read all their tweets, I've watched their videos, and I haven't seen anything transphobic, it's like anything like in support of gay genocide. It's like, what are you going to do about the evidence I supplied in the video? I don't give a crap about everything else they did. I give a crap about what I'm presenting in the video. What are you going to say about that? Oh, I didn't pay that much attention. I'll have to give it another rewatch. It's like, yeah.
It annoys me. Because I put so much effort into trying to make that video as accessible as possible, trying to make sure like people weren't put off in the beginning, making sure everything was clear and flowed logically, etc., etc., etc. We went through way more drafts than usual to try and make that video as accessible as possible for people, even people who did not want to put in the effort, and they cannot even pay attention.
Oh, right, there was also, I've forgotten, there's a streamer whose name I forgot, I didn't add it here. He did a video with Holy Kool-Aid before about the destruction of the atheist community, like they used like really post-nuclear imagery in like the thumbnail to like discuss everything that had happened surrounding Woodford. He stopped by to tell me to stop bullying Telltale, and I was like, none of this constitutes bullying. I'm literally just speaking about what happened. But,
do you know if people lie about you and then you talk about it? That's bullying.
Yeah,
that's bullying now.
It's just the way things are. They don't care about what they're doing to get this reaction. It's just the reaction they care about. But yes, I think that is in general. I mean, there was argument on Twitter. That got nowhere. Like, person ex-cult bitch or whatever started throwing ableist slurs at me. And it was like, well, that's very good. But yeah, so it's just, they haven't engaged with it.
And arguing on Twitter doesn't tend to accomplish much because you show them the evidence, and then they just get busy and like go throw something out. Oh, you're biased, or oh, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is exhausting. But yeah, I think that is really everything. I don't know if you've noticed any questions from the audience. I haven't really seen any questions. Mostly agreement.
Probably in the next video we discuss, the next few about this sort of thing. But hopefully eventually we'll discuss a video where we can actually like talk about the topic and the process, and not just, hey, these people on the internet are horrible and abusive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the same thing with this, the thing that happened with this video where they just refused to engage with it happened with the first Telltale video as well. Like, he just steered his fan base away because he knows he has no argument. He knows there is absolutely zero justification for his actions. And like, the arguments, both here and in the previous video on the Faithless Form, are so ironclad, he just can't do anything about it. To send his followers there would just hurt him more than it would do anything else. We were so careful about what we said. And it's just, yeah.
Part of the problem, too, like a little bit of it is YouTube culture, especially in the atheist community.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who watch the atheist content are drawn in because they want to see people basically get dumped on.
Yeah.
They want to see people make silly arguments and then get made fun of for those silly arguments. And this is also a thing in a lot of the RedTube stuff, which is kind of an outgrowth of that.
Yeah.
Where you don't do the research because you don't want to listen. You know, you don't want to spend your time, especially if you've come home from a hard day of work or school. You don't want to spend your time listening to bigots say stuff that's cringy and uncomfortable and like makes you feel like you're being attacked. And I, like, for the longest time, I did not, you know, I didn't follow up on any of this stuff. I would have been the sort of person who's like, I'm not going to watch that video. I'm going to wait for Telltale to debunk this because I don't want to go to that yucky place with that person I don't like.
Yeah.
It's only when I started my own channel and had to research stuff on my own that I started actually researching stuff, even when it was difficult, and listening to other perspectives. And like, we need to change the culture. We need to have a culture of it not being so scary to go and listen to people you don't like. And, you know, hopefully people can do their research. And like, obviously not huge amounts. I get that a lot of people watch YouTube for entertainment and have work and stuff and are tired and don't have a, like, it's not their job like it is ours to keep track of all this stuff. But you can spare the time to at least look at someone's video saying, hang on, that's not what happened. Hang on, I can defend the statement I made that you have a problem with.
That's the thing. Like, the evidence is all one-sided, so they've got nowhere to go on this.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard to have a more cooperative, amicable culture when
Woodford's audience is just trash. Like, Woodford could respond to anyone, make any bullshit assertion, and he'd get a free pass because his audience is just trash. Telltale's audience is bad, but it's not quite that bad. So I feel like if he tried, he would be crucified by his own audience so fast, or at least a portion of it. We have had a question. Do you want to make an announcement of Aromantic Awareness Week? We did make that announcement at the start of the video. We will be doing it on Discord as well. So yes, for those who don't know, it is Aromantic Awareness Week. Originally, when it was created, it was in November, which was like not many people paying attention around that time. They moved it to February in 2015 because it's post Valentine's. I'm sorry, my mind is just starting to go. It's post Valentine's, you know, they've been bombarded with the whole romanticism and stuff, and so it's nice to have a week for them afterwards to talk about their experiences, raise a little bit of awareness, etc. Yeah, so it is.
I'm sorry, Ethel, your mind is starting to go.
It's been going.
Starting.
It's been going for the last 26 years. Oh, right, I haven't coloured my nails today. I just haven't had the time and everything else. But the nails are actually growing out again. I know it's heresy. I just haven't had the time to do the nails.
This is a crime, but not as much as the like gun metal nail polish.
Why do you hate the metal nail polish? What did the metal nail polish ever do to you? Is this the gun?
It soiled my eyes with its presence.
Okay, I need to get red.
It's a shame.
I miss red.
It's a shame that it's Sunday. Maya can't be back me up. But oh well. You do need to get red. I wish nail polish wasn't a hazardous substance, because I want to just send you a massive box of every shade of red nail polish I can possibly find.
I also need to get a red paint on lipstick. I'm thinking of giving that a try. Because I've tried the wax on stuff. Don't particularly like it. But I've seen videos.
Is terrible.
I've seen the videos of the paint on stuff, and I do like painting. So yeah. Ours actually promoted Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro. I'm sure his audience is well deep in the alt-right sphere. Yeah. Funny thing is, like, I totally forgot about the Ben Shapiro apologism when I made the alt-light quip at the start of my first video, which was a fucking joke, by the way. It was very clearly a fucking joke, but he took that so seriously. It's really amazing how like fragile his ego was on that. And then he like starts hanging around with Sargon of a fucking Akkad. I see the Ben Shapiro. I watch the Jordan Peterson video, and it's just like, oh, okay. Well, I guess reality is the funniest comedy of all. Except this is kind of depressing, actually. And in like the Sargon of Akkad discussion he did, he's like boasting about, I defended science from the woke SJW trans crowd when it came to athletes. It's like, dude, you lied about the hemoglobin levels for those on HRT. You fucked up in reading your own graph and the annotation for that graph, pretending standard deviation was range. And then you just lied about the other studies you referenced. They did not even touch heart and lung size or muscle fiber type. It was just, yeah. Oh, anyway, I do believe that is all I really have to say. So, thank everyone for tuning in. I hope the show has been good. I've talked a bit longer than I thought. When we had 2 topics, it's like, this is going to be like an hour and a bit show, and then we've got like 2 more topics. Like, okay, they're quite short topics. We might make it to 2 hours. It's like 2 hours, 49 minutes. But yeah. Anyway, do check out our Discord if you'd like to. You'll be welcome there. Again, looking for moderators and liaison moderators. Support us on Patreon if you can. $1, $2 sponsors help a hell of a lot. You can also do a one-off donation if you'd like. Otherwise, if you can't, share this video, like it, get it out there, promote it, promote the Discord. Everything really does help. So, yeah. Anything you'd like to add, Levi?
I was going to tell you, don't try lipstick because it's trash and a sensory nightmare. Eyeshadow is where it's at.
I want painted on lipstick though. It's just the wax smooth like smudge on stuff. No. Yeah. Anyway, we shall leave the video running for about 5 minutes so you can all say goodbye. But yeah, I believe that is all from the 2 of us. It's a cow outside that I don't know. This is India, so cows are just walking around. There's a park out there, and I just heard a cow mewing. Mooing. But yeah.
Anyway, India. It sounds like an interesting place.
It is an interesting place. Take care, everyone, and may you all have the strength to make your oppressors quake.
Bye, everyone. Have a good insert. That's what I'm looking for.
And
insert applicable time of day here.
Yeah. Take care and bye.